Hey everyone, Charles Stevens here with this week's Words of Wisdom, coming to you from the fabulous Sun Palace Resort in Cancun, Mexico. For the past few weeks, we've been talking about becoming a leader worth following. But here's the foundation of great leadership. You can't lead others well if you're not living your own life with intention. So today we begin a new series, Intentional Living, focusing on what it means to live on purpose, not by default. Let me set the stage with this quote from John Maxwell. An unintentional life accepts everything and does nothing. An intentional life embraces the things that will add to the mission of significance. That's huge because if we're not careful, life will fill itself up fast. Schedules get packed, responsibilities pile on, and before we know it, we're busy, but we're not necessarily moving in the right direction. I've seen this play out in my own life. There was a season where my schedule was completely full: meetings, responsibilities, commitments. From the outside, it looked productive, but internally, something felt off. I was busy, but I wasn't always moving in the areas that mattered most: my faith, my family, and my long term purpose. And I had to ask myself a tough question: am I leading my life or just managing what's coming at me? The honest answer: I was living more by default than by design. So I made a shift. I started becoming intentional about my time, intentional about my priorities, intentional about what I said yes to, and just as importantly, what I said no to. And here's what I discovered: when you start living on purpose, your life doesn't necessarily get easier. It becomes clearer, more focused, more meaningful. Scripture reinforces this idea in Ephesians 5:15-16. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity. That phrase, be careful how you live, that's intentionality. It's a reminder that our days are too valuable to live on autopilot. We're called to be purposeful, to make the most of the time we've been given. So here's your challenge for this week. Take inventory of your life. Where in your life are you drifting instead of deciding? What are you saying yes to that doesn't align with your purpose? And what's one area where you can become more intentional starting today? Just take one step, because intentional living isn't about doing everything at once. It's about choosing direction over drift. Let's commit this week to living on purpose, not by default. That's all for this week's Words of Wisdom. Next week, we'll look at the cost of drift. Have a great week.